we did point that out to Mr. Lai Mohammed, that we have seen operatives of the DSS wearing masks, and we asked him if he's never seen them, and he said he's never seen them until that moment in Osun State. Well, I think that will be left for him to defend, but a lot of people do admit having seen men of the DSS wearing hoods. It's just that, you know, we've raised the question of whether or not you do a show of force, and whether or not, you know, your men were shooting sporadically into the air. But tell us more about this alleged 14 million naira bribe, which a lot of the papers have you talking about. You say that you were allegedly offered a bribe by some people, and you think that this hue and cry was because you have refused that bribe offer. Who offered this bribe, and why weren't they arrested?
Now, Maupe, when you have security reports concerning an area, and you deploy men and material to ensure security in that area, you wouldn't want to begin to unnecessarily exhibit tendencies that could compromise your operations. Now, on Tuesday, prior to the elections, the Tuesday before the Saturday of the elections, the director that was coordinating the elections activities in Osun was invited by one APC member to come collect 4 million for self, and then 10 million for the same mask people. And it was an offer. And she said no, that she didn't think it was necessary. That when it has to do with logistics, as far as the service is concerned, they would definitely have, you know, emplaced everything that would make for a successful operations. And so that was on Tuesday. The rejection of that money on Tuesday brought on a lot of things that ordinarily we had not seen before anywhere.
Now, just pressing on with that particular, you know, line of questioning, you did say that, you know, somebody was called. Do we have the name of this official? Were you going to pick the person up for questioning? If it was, I mean, definitely you say that was...
Now, the duty of the SSS is to detect...
to the officials. That is wrong, definitely. It is criminal.
Prevent and deter. Now, it is not. I want to take us back to Mr. President's policy when it has to do with how security should be carried out. He had said primarily that we must always use the carrot and stick process. So it's not every time that you go out arresting people. For those ones you can use the carrot, you use the carrot. For the ones you have to use the stick, you use the stick. And if this same process has been turned down when it has to do with other political parties, and they never took offense, why is it that the APC is taking offense? For me, it's like thinking, preempting or presuming that, look, okay, maybe these people are going to go to town with this stuff. And so we must be able to cow them, you know, to a point where they will be unable to expose what we were trying to do.
In your analysis...
And so when the person that made the offer, sorry please, the person that made the offer knows himself.
Okay.
And he knows that we know him. So we are waiting for the next step.
We keep getting interruptions here in audio, but sorry about that. Just quickly though, in your early analysis, when you started to talk about, you know, providing security, you mentioned that in some of these states where elections were conducted, if we draw the thread right, where the APC lost, there was a bomb blast. I don't know if that was the point you're trying to make, and if it is, were you insinuating that they were the ones who caused it in the states that they lost?
Maokwe, I have said it, and I said that we should thank God that since after the Osun State elections, we've not had a bomb blast. Glory be to God. And this is not to say that after I leave the studio, there should be a bomb blast. You know, it is not every time, you know, the DSS comes out making statements like this. We are not meant to intimidate. We are not meant to cow, but we are meant to allow the Nigerian people know that there are some certain things we know, and we keep quiet and we try to walk on the ground to ensure that we don't bring people into war paths. But let every Nigerian know that security forces should not and never be dragged into politics.
One of the things that the spokesperson for the APC mentioned yesterday was about his arrest. He talked about the fact that he was stopped from going about his business. He was going to the government house and he was asked to come down from his vehicle and enter a bus, a black bus, he called it. And when he entered, he saw some hooded men and some other people that were arrested inside the bus. Is there any particular reason why he was arrested?
Nyota, I want to ask, as per my last account, I think Alhaji Lai Mohammed is from Kwara State. That's not to say he has no right. There's freedom of movement, you know, freedom of association and all that. But we know that about the time he was picked up, it was a few minutes to 12 a.m. in the morning. With all due respect and intent, was he supposed to be roaming about the streets when he knows that security was on alert? And he talked about being thrown into a black bus. Let me tell you the truth. You know, when Nigerians find themselves in a free environment, they talk in such a manner that you would take them as champions, that they can wrestle a lion with their bare hands like David and conquer the lion. When he was taken to the office, I am told, he was totally disoriented because of fear and could not even utter a word. The one he said that they told him to go and enter a black bus to take him back, and he refused. Nothing like that actually happened. And he wasn't kept for 2 hours. I think the highest he spent within our premises was 45 minutes. And it was the director that graciously asked the senior officer to take him, because he was just asking, where am I? Where am I? What am I doing here? If he wasn't physically conscious of where he was and what he was doing, what was he doing outside? You see, we have to be very careful. When God has trust on some people positions of responsibility and they abuse them, and it is painful so that we have young children who look up to us. Our utterances and behavior in public does not depict people who want to bequeath to the younger generation a civilized society where people must learn to respect the laws of the land. There is no child that, no matter how illiterate or bush your parents are, the same parents give birth to you, spend their resources in training you, and when you have become a man, you turn around to spit on those parents. God will not forgive you. That is what we are seeing in society today. This same nation that has made some of our leaders, this same nation is the same nation that these leaders want to destroy. What will we bequeath to our children, please, for heaven's sake?
Mr. Lai Mohammed,
there must be a stop. People must guard their language, must know how they speak in public. People must know how to speak the truth and stop peddling falsehood.